we all crew. Just try me if you think I'm bullshit.
And this relevant set defines an insiderness, outsiderness.
The brother finally decides
all right, how many stars would it take to produce an insiderness and outsideness?
It's over. Everything starts from now.
2 stars do not.
We all go down unless we stay together. Ain't no one man above the crew. You know that shit.
And 3 stars have between us, but no insiderness, outsideness. They want to define a plane. There's no, not like that. 12 stars have insiderness and outsideness. I said, this is really very, very exciting. This would be, I gave the name then of a conceptual subdivision of universe. I called it a system. The system, I said, subdivides all the universe, and all the universe outside the system, all the universe inside the system, and a little bit of the universe, which is a system, is subdivided. It's going to be a very terminal condition, absolutely terminal. And this gives a great power of definition. So, this is a thinkable set, and the minimum is a tetrahedron. A tetrahedron becomes really very, very fascinating. In that relationship, I then also went into developing definition of the word structure.
When you said that last time,
I felt that
I was kind of
understandings and interrelationships of, incidentally, the 4 ponies had 6 interrelationships. They're not different numbers. One's a prime number 2, and the other's a prime number 3. Beautiful arithmetical brilliance here. There's a number of relationships which you have to finally understand is find all the relationships. There's something other than the numbers of the stars. That's one reason why understanding would not be good. So there's a synergetic, a very important synergetic phenomenon going on. Now, structure. Some engineers, scientists did not have a definition of structure. They talk about structure, they didn't have a definition. And I want to arrive at my structure definition experientially. I'm going to make a necklace. If a necklace is consisting of tubes, the surface may be quite fancy outside of the tube, inside of the tube, which we have then a continuous cord. And the necklace comes back to itself. It's a finite closure back to itself. I find that the matter, I'm going to pay no attention to the exterior decoration of the beads. There's an interesting tube pouch. I just want to deliberately take tubes. And I'm going to take a number of tubes of the same length as these. I'm going to take a number of aluminum tubes, 1/4 inch in diameter and about 9 inches long, easy to see in the room here, and run Dacron cord through them. I'm going to make a very long necklace. We find we can drape it all around the room. It is characterized by its transformability, mutability. And then looking at the necklace, observing very carefully what goes on, I find none of the tubes are changing the length, nor are any of them bending. Whatever's going on here that makes possible all these changes of shape is not to do with the tubes themselves. Something between the tubes are the angles, or where the tension cable runs between them. So the cable doesn't have to necessarily go through. I can make it fast from end to end of the tube. It becomes really a fixed push-pull member with this flexible corner. So it's the angles that are changing. So because it isn't the tubes, I begin to take the tubes out one by one deliberately to see what kind of effects I get. First, I find that if there are even numbers of tubes in the necklace, it'll make a wave, positive, negative, valley, peak. But if I have odd numbers, then it gets where it's bulky and gets up and has a plateau at some point and so forth. Then I keep on taking out beads, and I finally get down to where I only have 6 beads left, 6 of these tubes. And I've draped it over my shoulders at 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches down front. There's a U in front of me here, a U down my back. All right, I take out one more. I only have 5. So I have a V in front here and a U down my back. I take out one more, I only have 4. I have a V in front and a V down my back. Drapes over my shoulders. I take out one more and I only have 3. That's the minimum polygon, and for the first time it does not flex. It is what you and I call a triangle. Now there are 6 parsecs. There's 3 independent tensions and 3 independent compressions. And they are 6 independents are interacting to produce a stable pattern. So this begins to getting pretty close to being able to define a structure. It is a complex of events that interact to produce a stable pattern. Then I find that the only polygon that does stabilize is the triangle, and it is the minimum polygon. It cannot have of 2 sides. So I find that the minimum polygon is the stable, and it is if it exists experientially, it's going to then consist of, maybe I've draped this something on the board and fasten it, but the board, when I get down and find is a compression member. These constituents in there are the minimum as I give it to, these push-pulls. So I say a triangle is structure and a structure is triangle. That's that. And this, in a sense, was very well known to the ancients, so that we have the trestle, the traceness, the truss. So we see men doing lots of things with other kinds of polygons and stabilizing them with little gusset plate triangles with enormous leverage against them. Very unfair to them. Anyway, nature does things the most economical way, so she would not do it in that uneconomical way of having leverage advantage against a joint. Now, next thing. Triangle is structure, structure is triangle, and I come then to the minimum system of universe and consists of 4 triangles. So not only it is a minimum system, it is a minimum structural system. It's an absolute limit case all the way through. And comes, you don't need anybody mark your paper, because you really are dealing absolute first X, Y, Z coordinate. You cannot have another dimension that's together. It's perpendicular to the system that is not parallel to one of the lines already introduced. And they said you can't make it, therefore, because nature is using 4th power quite clearly with the black body.
Company, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street.
And it was gradually expanded to become what has been called in Asia the heart doctrine. It is the doctrine that the final solution to all things is compassion. That the individual must base his foundations upon a gentle release from the tendencies to cruelty of any kind. The Bodhisattva doctrine is the doctrine of infinite self-sacrifice for the common good. It is the doctrine of the individual forgetting his own advancement in the service of humanity. It is completely non-competitive. Competition becomes a basis of delusion. The competition itself is a delusion. solved by it, because it is constantly destroying the basic friendships, it is the doctrine of the individual forgetting his own advancement in the service of humanity. It is completely non-competitive. Competition becomes a basis of delusion. The competition itself is a delusion. Nothing will ever be solved by it, because it is constantly destroying the basic friendships, the basic kinships which should exist in human society. Interracial, therefore, comes mostly to those who by nature have chosen to follow a faith or a spiritual path of growth. These people, for example, do develop a strong sense of faith. Faith is dependency upon truth. It may be also called a dependency upon God. God is truth. The highest analysis, but it is the individual. God is truth. But it is the individual aligning himself with the divine purpose, striving sincerely to keep those spiritual realities which are set forth in the Sermon on the Mount and in the many wonderful teachings of the Christian religion. Here we have something that is contrary to human attitude, but unfortunately for man, is in perfect accord with the laws of existence. And we are told in the words of the Master that blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. God's meek are those who quietly and gently accept the universal law. They're the ones who strive definitely every day to keep the rule, fully aware of the rules which he set. Taking the humble, these people quickly ripen their intuition. They become very wise in the inner life of things. In olden days, there was in every family an honored elder. Very often it was grandmother, sometimes grandfather, or aged maiden aunt. But there was always someone in the family, an aged maiden aunt, who was the counselor. And when problems became difficult, or situations were hard to bear, the elder was called upon to advise, to tell, to explain, to speak from the experience of long years, that which in man's compound constitution, this elder is the quality. It is that which speaks with the wisdom of ages against the foolishness of the moment, and points out those great strengths upon which survival depends. In our present generation, we have lost contact with most of the securities of the past. We have lost our ability to simply listen to the wisdom of the elders. The American Indian listens to the words of the old and the true. We listen mostly to superficial remarks made by those seldom qualified to speak at all. In other words, we have lost the counselor. We have lost the old teacher. We have lost DURHAM in the story of Parsifal. We have lost the God of the underworld. recognize that the parent in us, the old aunt and the grandmother in us, speaking with the wisdom of years, is the coordinator. It is that which out of the facts of living distills the pattern which each individual must follow. From this coordinator, the person can learn how he must change himself. He learns how he can expand and develop the potentials that he possesses. He learns how he can be more useful and serviceable to the causes of others around him. He learns better habits of living. He finds the mistake of decadent morality. He learns many, many things. Not from old grandmother,